My name is Jamie Burton Orr. I'm the founder of Flint for Flint, and we are honored to be a part of the National Water Collective.
Hello, I'm Mike Brown. I'm the DPW Director for the City of Flint.
Jonathan Quarles records Water Source.
Sharon Rockrup with 501c3.
I'm Claudia Perkins. I'm from Flint, Michigan.
My name is Syrah Scott of the National Clean Water Collective.
My name is Sarah Scheitler. I'm with the Flint River Watershed Coalition. It was really inspiring today, just hearing about all of the amazing work that's continuing to happen in Flint, and also inspiring to get the audience asking us hard questions and the Flint community continuing to be engaged and committed to knowing the truth about their health.
This is the People's Water Board Coalition Water Wednesday webcast for October 5th, 2022.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back again, beloved community, with yet another installment of the People's Water Board Coalition's Water Wednesdays webcast. And today, along with my co-host Valerie Jean Blakely, we have the pleasure of having some younger adults, young people here from the National Water Collective. And what they've done is tested water in Flint. And we're going to hear about their findings, how they go about testing, and just how they do their work and why it's so important. So from the National Water Collective today, we have Antonio Sweeney and Melodie Marsh. And later on, we will have the founder of the collective coming in, Miss Syrah Scott. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to come on the show. And I'll turn it over to Valerie Jean and we'll jump right into it.
Yeah, it's so exciting to have you guys here and to learn. I was really excited to hear about the work that you're doing. It's really, really important work. The Flint community has been suffering for a long time, and to see youth getting involved and getting things and getting water tested, and it must be quite a learning process to do that. So I'm going to jump right in. And again, thank you. Can you tell our listeners about, either one of you, can you tell our listeners about the testing process and really what's involved when you go into, to test somebody's water? How does it go down?
So it's actually quite a simple a process. It's really easy for anyone to do. You basically just run the water for about 5 minutes to flush out the system. And then you fill up, I think it was about like 3 or 4 containers with the water. And each of the containers test for 100 different volatile organic compounds. So yeah, it's really simple. You really just flush the system and then you fill up the containers and you seal it off and then ship it to our private nonprofit. I think it's a nonprofit organization to have the water tested.
Oh, okay. So do you make appointments with people, or you go door to door and explain to people?
Yep. So we were making appointments. We were basically reaching out to the community and anyone that we knew to see if they wanted to get their water tested and know what was in their water. And so once, I think we did about 50 tests for the first round, and then our plan is to go back and do 50 more. But yes, we were asking our neighbors, asking our friends and family, anyone in the Flint community that wanted to have their water tested.
So this was all part of an initiative. Hi, everybody. I'm Antonio, Youth Brand Ambassador for the National Clean Water Collective. Thanks so much for having me and Melodie on today. And this all initiative was part of a new program that we're introducing with the National Clean Water Collective. It's called Check Your Tap. So it was a way for us to educate the residents about what was actually in their water systems, as well as giving back to community. And this was an entirely youth-led project.
Oh, awesome. And what have you found has been your experience going door to door? Have you found that residents have been very receptive, or have they been a little standoffish?
Got you. So for me, in my particular instance, I wasn't on the ground yet because I'm here at Morehouse College, but I did get a chance to actually fly out to the event. But the main thing that we actually heard from the residents was how people they were just really wanted to get more educated. And it was feel more welcoming coming from an organization like us because we're nonpartisan. So it wasn't like a left or a right issue. We were just trying to educate, and just really hearing some of the stories and stuff like that were quite horrific as well. Melody, I'm pretty sure you can speak to that.
Yes, going into the different homes, it was very eye-opening in seeing that the water crisis is definitely not over. I feel like they're trying to sweep it under the rug now and say, yeah, we're replacing pipes and stuff like that. But it's quite sad to see everything that we saw. For example, like in one of the houses, they only had one filter on the kitchen sink, but they hadn't replaced the filter or like any of the filter parts. And some people don't know that if you don't replace the filter and don't keep it up to date, that the metal from inside the filter can start coming out into your water as well if you had it for too long. And seeing like just water bottles all over people's house, like empty water bottles, and toothbrushes all over the kitchen sink because they could only afford filters in one area. So it's very sad and very disheartening that we have to go into homes where we should be able to trust our water source and be able to use our water without any problems or worried about different contaminations. So yeah, it was very eye-opening.
Yeah, we've been organizing around the Flint water crisis since the beginning of 2014. And the stories that we've heard coming out are always tragic, absolutely tragic, what people are going through. And for them to have gone through this for so long. And then we see like all these other cities in Michigan, poor cities in Michigan, like Benton Harbor and Pontiac and Hamtramck and Highland Park. All of these places are testing with extremely high lead levels now. But, if we'd have responded, if the whole country would have responded right to Flint, and we would have started replacing the pipes in Michigan, we could have saved a lot of lives and at least reduce some of the harm that these people have went through. So do you want to tell us what you found in the water when you started testing?
Yes, I can share that with you. So the good thing, I guess you can say the good news, was lead wasn't the main well, I guess it's kind of good news, but lead wasn't the main compound in the water anymore. There weren't high traces of lead at all. But the top 5 volatile organic compounds that we did find were, excuse me if I mispronounce any of these, but bromo, what'd you say?
Do the best you can. Give yourself some grace.
Bromo dichloromethane, chloroform, trihalomethanes, dibromochloromethane, and which all of those are disinfectant byproducts and cancer-causing agents. And then Legionella was also a bacteria that was in the water, which can cause pneumonia. So pretty bad compounds that are in the water that we're drinking every day, and they're also connected to many different diseases as well. So it's not just cancer, but it's liver issues and things like that. I think it's genotoxicity, like having too much toxins in your body and stuff like that. So yeah, it's connected to a lot. And it's sad that that's what we're drinking and that's what we're being given to have to drink.
Mm-hmm. And also, Valerie, I wanted to touch on a point that you had said too about the other water crises that are not only going on here in Michigan, but around globally as well. I feel like Flint was just often used as the poster child when it came to water crises and stuff like that. And just thinking about like we have a situation over there in Jackson, right? It really amplifies that America has a water crisis, right? So yeah.
That's right. The pipes from all over the nation need to be replaced. People who think that the water's okay now should know that it's not going to be okay in the times coming if we don't respond to this nationwide water crisis, like you said. Yes.
Gotcha, because history will keep on repeating itself.
That's right. And it's only going to get worse and worse without responding to it. And we can't, and then the response to the light pipes are, well, it's too expensive. Do you know how expensive it is to to poison an entire city, right? Like to take care of those people, you'll never be able to. So no matter what, it's going to cost money, right? But human lives are more important than money. Spend the money and fix the pipes. I don't think that people realize how what an urgent, dire situation we are as a country with water. I mean, maybe they are now that is what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi.
I think a
so
lot of
people
people take for granted that water is something that's always been there and it always will be there, and it's always been drinkable, and that's not necessarily the truth.
well, it's not in the times ahead, certainly not what's gonna be for anybody.
Gotcha. And another point too, I actually wanted to say too as well was like you have the temporary going back to solutions where we'll be fixing the pipes, and people propose like temporary solutions in regards to like more water giveaways and stuff like that. I feel like being part of the National Clean Water Collective really exposed to me like what's actually in water bottles and stuff like that, and how actually bad they are for you, which a lot of people don't know. But it's like whether your local Kroger's or Myers or Walmart, and you're just getting a 24-pack, you really don't care about that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
About the minerals and stuff that are being taken away from your body with that purified water. So, yeah.
They also don't realize the fact that they're contributing to the privatization of water as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was Mama Lila Cabell. She passed a few years ago, but she was a great water warrior. And she fought racism her entire life. She's brilliant. But anyway, she looked at us and said, literally the privatization of water is the biggest sin that we've ever created, that we've ever done to the earth. The worst thing that we could have ever done to the earth was privatizing water. And that always sticks whenever we're having these conversations. It always pops up in my head. And she said that years and years and years ago in 2014. And it was right before we learned about what was happening in Flint. I know that the Flint residents started testing their bottled water when this first started happening. They started testing their bottled water and found out the same thing. Like, this isn't any better for us than the water, that is coming out of our taps that's brown and laced with all these heavy particulates and things like that. They found out it wasn't. So what are you all hoping to do with the test results? And what kind of advocacy, if any, are you intending on doing with the test results? What does that look like?
I feel the main purpose what we're going to be doing with the test results is sharing them back with the residents so they're informed, but also making this sort of a call to action so people become more aware about what's really going on. And hopefully we can use this data on a larger scale to present it nationally as well.
Right. Be able to fight for legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Not just to replace the pipes, but to make sure that people have safe water in the interim, safe, affordable water. Because as we know, even though the water is crap in Flint, it's still not affordable. It's like one of the highest water rates in the country. So that, that's very, very.
Sorry. And just to encourage like more residents to get their water tested, like using platforms like this and the forum that we had previously, just to, bring awareness to the situation that in fact it's not over and that everyone needs to have their water tested and we all need to see what's in our water and know that we're drinking every day.
That's right. That's a really good call to action. All of our listeners, share this out. And it's very, very important that folks are having these conversations with their families, with their friends, with their communities, all over the country. It's important. So we want to make sure that we share that. So how can people go ahead, Nicole?
Oh no, I just wanted our viewers to realize that if it's going on in Flint, it's going on in your neighborhood as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. When we started looking at the water infrastructure throughout the country, I mean, it's never been updated. It's never been thought about why the way that they built it, it was wrong. And it's poisoning people. They built the whole water infrastructure with lead pipes, right? Years ago, we started testing paint and everything in people's houses because we found out that lead was not a good thing. It was not an okay thing to have water anywhere around, right? We learned that. So it's so important that, and especially now we've got all these ARPA funds and all this federal money coming in. There is, there are things, there's money available to start fixing the pipes throughout the nation. So as a whole, we have to start demanding that. Talk to your states, go federal. we're going to have to stand together to do those things, because nobody's coming to save us for this, and they're not going to do it unless we're demanding it. And a lot of times we have to demand it in mass in the streets, right? For Flint, we had hundreds of marches and direct actions and large mobilizations, but it just, when Governor Snyder was in, it fell on deaf ears. And of course, they were still under emergency management, which, I think that people don't understand that this all really started with emergency management throughout Michigan, where we put it against it. And then the Snyder administration put it through anyway. And it was the emergency manager who did this in Flint. And so that, they, and with Detroit's water system too, the emergency manager was trying to rob us of our water system, the whole system.
Claire McClinton put it best when she said the statement of, in the United States, we can pay for a gallon of lead-free gasoline and a gallon of lead-free paint, but we have to pay for lead-infused water.
Right.
We can't have lead-free water.
Right.
And that just was like so poignant of a statement because of the sheer absurdity that they ensured we could have lead-free gas and lead-free paint, but not lead-free water.
Right. I mean, they're saying that the kids here are saying, or young adults, I'm sorry, not kids. The young adults here are saying that that Flint's not testing high for lead, but all these other things that are in there, it's so that they can clean the water, because it's so bad, they have to put so much stuff into it to clean the water, right? So it's all connected, whether it's testing high for lead or not, it's all connected. Because they wouldn't be putting that much disinfectant and stuff in the water if the water wasn't just terrible, right?
So what would either of you suggest to viewers that may live in Flint or other areas where they have lead service lines? What would you suggest that they do to maybe get testing started in their area?
Definitely, for sure. One thing when it talks about getting involved, when people are like, well, I don't want to get involved in politics. Well, I remind people that politics is very much involved into you, right? So when we have situations like this, I would kind of urge people really call upon their local council people or local government, because that's where it actually starts at first. And just really holding these people accountable, right? Try to find these different resources or reach out to people like the National Clean Water Collective or people like us, right? So I'll definitely say that. And don't feel discouraged too, because that sometimes it's going to be a little challenging, right? It's like you're going to be the odd person out in the room who's only advocating. But at the end of the day, I feel like the work that we're doing is going to be leaving an impact that's going to shackle. So
that's right. That's right. Do you, Melody, do you have any suggestions on how people can get involved? Or just along the same lines of the things that he just said?
Yeah, pretty much the same things that he just said. Don't be afraid to step up. And me personally, I was scared at first, Antonio and working along with Nariya and all those people, they all encouraged me. You have people in your corner that will encourage you and help you move along and help you go to your city council, go to whatever rep you need to go to, or whichever way you need to go. You have people that are encouraging you and you have people that are looking up to you. So just make that step and push forward to get the clean water that you deserve, and beyond clean water, the access to healthy food, access to transportation, everything, we deserve those. Those are our rights. So always just take that step and don't be afraid to take that step.
Well, the two of you give me so much hope for the future, and I really, truly mean it. We've been doing this work. Nicole and I do this work on a daily basis. We organize for clean, affordable water, or safe, affordable water for folks. And to know that you all are, and your generation is taking this on and taking it very seriously, and you really don't have a choice but to, right? It's out of necessity to do it, right? To save your own families and things in communities. So thank you. And it gives us lots of hope for the future. Do you have anything else before we wrap it up, Nicole?
No, I just want to say I'm proud of the both of you and the work that you do. And it's good to see that there are younger people picking up the mantle and taking up this fight. And I hope that you continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here. I'm sad that Syrah wasn't able to get here, but she sounded like she was doing mutual aid in Jackson, Mississippi this morning. So she gets a pass. But we'll have her on, and I'm hoping to have you all back once you do all these rounds of testing, just to see what the calls to action are when it's all done and said, when you're done with the testing. If there's like calls for legislation, for people to call their legislators and their House reps and people like that. We definitely want to discuss that with you further and share those things with us, and we'll share them with our listeners too, and keep folks abreast of what's happening. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nicole, for always going down this journey with me. And, until next time, my friends, try to take care of each other, try to look out for each other, call each other, and try to stay afloat. Bye.
All right, take care.